Are there ways that individuals can get around the forensic science as they learn more about forensic science? And I think there are people who have, one of the individuals, you guys remember the Unabomber?
Yeah.
Okay, Unabomber was actually a pretty smart guy. He was appreciative of forensic science. He would make his bombs, and he would go into bathrooms and pick up hair from the bathroom and put them in the bomb to confuse those FBI guys that were doing the trace evidence. When we did finally get documents that he had written, he had handled them just on the edges. So we could barely see his fingerprints on the paper. You know, he was thinking that far ahead. But even he made mistakes. When he sent the documents that ultimately kind of got him caught, he licked the stamps. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you all need to write the post office and tell them to get rid of those self-adhesive stamps. I mean, that just killed a whole bunch of evidence I used to work on. But anyway, he licked the stamps, and we actually had enough DNA to look at, with not the sophisticated tests we look at now, but very simple systems, to compare to his brother and his mother, who, when they identified him, actually brought in known letters that they had received from him, and we could compare the DNA. So that gave us sufficient probable cause, as well as other things, to go do the search. So there are ways of getting around it. I mean, one of the areas, we actually have Dr. Dorman, who does forensic chemistry, drug development, these bath salts and designer drugs. They're always kind of one step ahead of DEA in the legislation. So that's an area that's always evolving, and we have to be better at detection. But just like the guy who mailed the letters, the ricin letters, okay, he signed his name, right? Sort of. So typically we're able, usually it's really hard to hide your fingerprints completely. It's really hard to kind of get rid of that evidence, especially if it's involved in the actual crime. But we are not perfect investigators, and sometimes it's really more, I think what they get around is in the courtroom. That's really where we see how good are the witnesses. You know, are they appearing to be biased? Was something done improperly at the laboratory? So that's kind of the other way. We have to keep an eye on that.